Hi everybody, Crista Cowan here with another episode of The Barefoot Genealogist. Joining me today is Anna Swain. She is the program manager for our Ancestry DNA community. Glad you're here, Anna.
Thank you for having me.
We have a lot of questions that we could cover today in our frequently asked questions about Ancestry DNA, but we've decided that what we're going to do is we're going to start with the really basic questions. And we're getting a lot of you that are asking some of these really basic questions about Ancestry DNA. And then over the course of the next few months, we're going to continue to present a series of these videos that get a little bit more advanced with each section, right? So today we're going to start with 3 really basic questions. If you have additional questions that you just absolutely have to have the answers to today, as always, I'll be available on chat immediately following today's presentation, and we'll try to answer the questions as they come in. So let's dive into today's presentation. The first question that we get quite frequently, and sometimes even by people's comments on our social media channels, we understand what they're really asking is, how do I know which test I took? So let's talk about that a little bit, Anna.
Okay, great. So there's basically 3 tests on the market. One is the Y chromosome DNA, which is also referred to as Y-DNA, and that is for males only. And it's inherited by the Y chromosome that's traced through the paternal line, so the father's line. The second option is the mtDNA, or the mitochondrial DNA test, and that's inherited from your mother, and anyone can take it, and it traces your maternal line. Then last, and the newest test on the market is the AtDNA test, which is also called the Autosomal DNA test, and anyone can take it. It looks over 700,000 markers across your genome, and doesn't matter, male or female can take this test.
So let's explain this chart to me. What am I looking at here?
All right, so this is a fan chart. All of this person's ancestry is represented here, and you can see the 2 blue lines kind of just tracing just the paternal line representing the Y chromosome, and the maternal line representing the mtDNA, or the maternal line.
So if I had, for example, if I had my brother take the Y-DNA test, what's being tested is just this single blue line, right?
Exactly. It's very specific and has a great application if you want to trace then just your surname.
Okay, so then talk to me about the new autosomal test. What is it exactly that it's testing?
So the autosomal DNA is testing all of your ancestors. Anything that you've inherited from them, we test 700,000 markers, and it's little bits and pieces from all of your ancestors, starting with your 2 parents, inheriting 50% from mom, 50% from dad, and so on and so forth.
Okay, so I just want to make sure everybody understands how to tell on the website which test they've taken. If you hover over this DNA button on the Ancestry.com website, you're going to see Y-DNA and mtDNA tests if that's the tests that you've taken previously. And I can scroll down and see here, I have a maternal test that I haven't taken yet, and my brother took the Y test for our family. So I can see that I have taken those tests. I can also click here on where it says Your DNA homepage, and if you have taken the new Ancestry DNA autosomal test, you're going to see test results here. In this case, I had each of my parents take that test so that I could separate out their results. So if you're not quite sure which test you've taken, just look under that DNA button, and it'll be able to help hopefully clear that up for you so you know what's going on. So how do I know which test I took is the question, and I'm going to actually throw in a part B to that,
Okay.
which is who should take the test?
Who should take the test? This is a great question and very important. You can always start with yourself, and get an idea of what you inherited from your 2 parents. I recommend to people to go 1 generation back if possible. So if your parents are available, have them tested. That preserves just 1 generation before you. And if they're not around, you can get an aunt or an uncle to also be tested. But really, to maximize your results with the autosomal test is to get multiple people in your family tested, because they're all going to give you a piece of your ancestry.
Okay, excellent. Maybe we'll talk a little bit more about that here in just a minute. So the next set of questions is, we get this a lot, right? And I've kind of mushed it all together. People ask us all the time, why do I not have any Native American or German or British Isles DNA that's showing up in my results when I know I have ancestry from those places? And kind of an ancillary question to that, people ask us things like, well, my sister took the DNA test, or my aunt took the DNA test, and she has different results than mine. Let's start with that second part first. Can you explain that to us?
Yes. So your sister and you taking the test, this is to be expected, unless you're twins. Are you identical?
Not identical twins.
Okay, then we expect you to have different results. And this is exciting because your sister inherited another section of your parents' DNA than you did. And this is a great slide to show for this and to demonstrate this, because as you go back, you start with you look at your let's just take your father's line, for example. He gave you half of his DNA. So that's 3 letters being represented, passing down to you. And as you can see from his previous generation, his 2 parents, that he received 3 letters each from them. And it's just a random mixture, a random combination. We can't predict it until we test it, and then we start to understand a little bit more. But each set of letters then provides him with his own unique signature, or Edward being represented in this case. And then he passes down 3 letters to you, and you get 3 letters from your mom representing your own specific signature.
But the siblings then in this case might get a different set of 3 letters, and they might be recombined in a different way.
Exactly.
Okay.
And that's why it's beneficial to get multiple people tested in your family.
Because there could be things that my father or his parents had that don't get passed to me, but that do get passed to a brother or sister.
Exactly.
Excellent. Okay. So then let's talk about the first part of that. Let's talk a little bit about why certain DNA doesn't show up, and maybe we can start with a quick explanation of how we determine ethnicity for people to begin with.
Excellent. Okay. So the ethnicity estimate is based on, after we get your DNA, we analyze it, we look at the 700 locations or markers, and then we compare you to all of the other regions that we've tested. So if you look at an example in this slide, we look at you, we compare you to all the regions that we've tested, which we have 20, and then we give you a breakout of what populations you look most like.
So you said we've tested 20 regions around the world, and so this is just a quick map, and I believe this has been posted on our blog, so people can go look at it there for themselves. But basically, these are the possibilities that could show up in your ethnicity, and then we take and compare your DNA to that reference panel to determine which pieces of that you received, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yep. And that's with current research today. So it might change, and that's the exciting part about being a part of it right now. You'll be able to, your results will be progressive as we do more research and we find out more information maybe about a specific location. Your results can actually get more refined, and that will be really exciting to see.
Excellent. Okay, fabulous.
If I can make one other thing about that, we have people calling in and concerned that a certain specific ethnicity didn't show up, and that might be just they didn't inherit it.
Right.
Referring back to the slide with the letters, you may just didn't inherit the D that your dad had,
right,
or so forth. So just make that connection with ethnicity.
Okay, excellent. Okay, and then our final set of questions today, and I warned you that these were going to be basic, and hopefully they'll be quick. We want these to be shorter videos maybe than normal so that people are more likely to watch them. So let's talk about this idea for just a minute here, Anna. The question here is, I have a very large list of cousin matches, and the concern is that we're just matching people up who have similar ethnicity. They don't understand how that works. Can you explain that a little bit?
Yes, that's a great question. And to understand that question, I think if we review just quickly what the process is like. When you go through and you get your DNA tested, we test the 700,000 SNPs against everyone else in the database. So you get your test done, and then we compare you to 120 other people, 120,000 other people. And we look to see where the common DNA is.
Okay.
So, like it says, we do that over and over, and as new people come in, we compare you again to the new people entering in the database.
So this is a completely separate process than the ethnicity process.
Completely separate process. It's kind of a two-step process. We look at your ethnicity, we compare it to the populations, then we come in and we look at and compare you to everyone else in the database. And then we show you how you're related by relationship. So cousin, first cousin, second cousin, third cousin.
Okay,
so
excellent. So theoretically then, the second question of this section is, could I have cousin matches who share no ethnicity with me?
Yes. Yes, you can, and that's because of the process is kind of not connected in a sense. You can share DNA, but doesn't mean you're going to share an ethnicity.
Okay.
And you can share ethnicity, but doesn't mean you're going to share a close relationship.
Okay, so for those of you who, as I'm listening to Anna, what I'm understanding is those of you who have looked at some of your DNA cousin matches and just dismissed them because you have no shared ethnicity, maybe you need to go back and look at those again.
Exactly, because they have a whole other, 30, 40, 50 people that they've inherited DNA from that you haven't.
Okay.
You're looking at one specific common
Okay,
ancestor.
excellent. That makes a lot of sense. So that is our brief set of questions today. As always, if you have additional questions and you need the answers right now, I'll be on chat if you're watching this live in just a few minutes and can help you with some of those questions. We will be doing additional DNA FAQ videos over the next couple of months, and the questions will get progressively harder. Anna, are you up for that?
I'm up for that, yeah.
Okay, excellent. If you have any additional questions or have presentations you'd like to see in the future, you can always email me at ask@ancestry.com and take a look at our Facebook page. We're going to be posting the April, how is it April already? The April schedule of events probably tomorrow, so you can see what the topics are for all of the live stream broadcasts scheduled for the month of April. Until next time, this is Crista Cowan. Have fun climbing your family tree.